Good evening. Well, I'm sure it's going to be being removed.
Yo,
the government, states, they start putting these RICO acts on Diddy, all of these guys, and try to put it on these ongoing criminal organizations. I ain't never seen the government put a RICO act on the KKK.
switch happened. Come on, man. You got to acknowledge this. This is the problem that I have with elders like you, because you fail to acknowledge that this stuff has happened.
If we sit there and be old school, we gonna miss the boat. You know, a lot of this kids 19 years old buying houses with Bitcoin, buying Maserati.
Wow. Disclaimer. The views and opinions expressed on this panel show are those of the individual speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of this channel, its affiliates, sponsors, or production team. This content is intended for informational and entertainment purposes only. Viewer discretion is advised. We encourage respectful dialogue and critical thinking around the topics discussed.
It's gonna come out how it come out. You feel me? Yo, none of this is rehearsed. Everything is off the top.
Vulgar. Welcome to the man cave.
Not all heroes wear capes. I'm your host tonight, Gray Mars.
I'm Nora Christine.
I'm Doc.
And I'm Kamal.
And we got a guest tonight, Steven. Steven, before you introduce yourself, I'm going to play your video talking about you running.
Atlanta, Georgia. My name is Steven Dingle. If you've grown up with me, know me during my college days at Clark Atlanta University, or more so from my extensive career in the music business, you may know me more commonly as Steve-O. My former softball players may recognize me as Coach Steve-O. Some of my students call me Mr. Steven or Mr. Dingle. Well, no matter how familiar you've become with me, I'm looking forward to serving the city of Atlanta by winning the election this November, and you knowing me as Councilman Steven Dingle of District 11. I want to thank Councilwoman Marcy Collier Overstreet for the great job she's done and continues to do, serving the communities of District 11 and the people of Atlanta at large. And I wish her the absolute best as she pursues the seat of Atlanta City Council President. Atlanta, Georgia remains one of the most dynamic cities in the country, a city that continues to raise the bar in the realms of progress, community, business, and culture. Atlanta makes history every single day, whether it's being ranked one of the best cities to live in, our place in the domestic and international market, or our global influence. We have found ways to make our city one of the strongest cities in the entire world. But even with all of our success, there's always places where we can improve. And how do we do that? Together. As your councilman, I will bring strength, purpose, and pride to our city government. I will open my doors to work with anyone who wants to see our city thrive, while respecting Atlantans and ensuring our community's preservation. This includes the people who live here, work here, get an education here, and even those who come to visit. Atlanta is always stronger when we are united, and it is my job to ensure we always understand that. District 11 will always be one of Atlanta's strongest districts and will remain one of the most significant areas in our city. From Cascade to Ben Hill, from Niskey Lake to Greenbrier, several former Atlanta mayors still reside in this district. District 11 produces some of the best Atlanta has to offer. We will make sure our communities are safe. We will bring more job and career opportunities. We will take even better care of our elders and senior citizens. We will provide our children with more programs and activities that will give them the absolute best chances to succeed and thrive. This is only the beginning. It's a long road to the election in November, and I plan on seeing and hearing from all of you throughout the city and on the campaign trail. I want to thank my wife for always standing by me and trusting me in my endeavors. To our children, thank you for being the best kids ever. To my family, friends, community associates, Atlanta City government, and my fellow Atlantans, thank you for allowing me this opportunity to be a candidate to serve you. My name is Steven Dingle, and I am running for Atlanta City Council, District 11. God bless you.
For sure, Steven. It basically answered all the questions right there. So let's start at the very beginning. Go ahead, Nora.
You said you were in the music industry. Did you ever go to Tallahassee and attend music conferences? Because you look very familiar.
No, I never went to Tallahassee for a music conference. The only time I went to Tallahassee was it was either high school or high school. It was an AAU tournament that I went to Tallahassee for
Okay.
something. Yeah, we went to FAMU, Florida State, like stadium and stuff. So yeah, never went to Tallahassee
Got
for music.
For sure. So this is your first time here, Steven. So I want to start at the very beginning. What's a childhood memory or experience that shaped who you are today?
Two things to be quick. One thing is I'm a huge fan of posse stories. So like Power Rangers, Ninja Turtles, Justice League, Marvel, anything that requires a group of people to accomplish a mission from that young to adulthood, and then even lead into the music industry, realizing like the team that an artist needs to be successful. I just love anything that requires a team to accomplish something. And then secondly is, as you can see, I'm in Atlanta Falcons, Atlanta Braves, Atlanta Hawks, Georgia, everything. So yeah, the 1998 Super Bowl when the Broncos beat the Atlanta Falcons, that's the first time I ever cried over sports, and it set me on a path of heartbreak and and high blood pressure being an Atlanta Falcons fan. So those posse stories and being an Atlanta Falcons fans get my heart broken in 1998. Those things really helped shape me to who I am today.
Who was your biggest role model growing up, and what did you learn from them?
Oh, my father. He's no longer with us. He's been gone for about 11 years now. But my father is definitely Jerry Dinkle, definitely my biggest role model. And I always give credit to three people: my dad, Malcolm X, and it's unconventional, but T.I. But yeah, my father, he just, to me, of course, he wasn't perfect. There's no such thing as a perfect person, let alone a perfect parent. But he really set the standard for what I believe manhood is to be. And all three of those gentlemen, like, I think I'm a culmination of those three men and what I think manhood is. And Malcolm X, his resilience and his authoritative aura, you could say, and him just having that vision, the mission that even against all odds, he knew he was here for a purpose. And then lastly, T.I. I think he just added to my confidence. Just being from Georgia, being from Atlanta, and hearing someone just be so really cocky, but I don't know. T.I. I can listen to it today, and I even use it to, promote my children and get them to like build self-esteem and self-confidence, because just hearing him on a track and even, beating them several times around the city, he just exudes confidence. And he, again, is one of those men who just never let anything get in his way, or get in his way. And he makes sure to let you know that you're not going to stop him. So, yeah, those are the three men who helped make me who I am.
For sure. My bad. So my last question is, what was your first job and what did it teach you about life?
My first job was Zaxby's. I don't know if everybody got a Zaxby's where they're from, but it's a chicken spot that started here in Statesboro, Georgia. But I worked there in 10th grade. Well, yeah, I'm saying it's my first job. I helped my dad out at Bronner Brothers because Atlanta is the home of Bronner Brothers, a hair care company, and we got the Bronner Brothers show. It happens twice a year. That was huge. So I used to sell magazines there. But my first official job at 16 and 10th grade, all the way through high school, was Zaxby's. And I've always been, because I played sports all my life, and like I said, my father, I've always been huge on being on time. As you can see here, I was 5-10 minutes early to this interview, and I just think that job just helped me understand being dependent on. I was one of those guys who I played every role. As I was a cashier, I cooked the food, I prepared the food, I would get there early and clean, stay late. And if I didn't go to college, they really tried to make me a manager to keep me from going to college. It's like, we'll just, we'll give you a promotion and make you a manager. You could be district manager one day and all. You can maybe own your own Zaxby's. And I was just like, nah, I got to go to college. So Zaxby's just prepared me to, like I said, that responsibility of being dependable and understand the value of really adding every tool to your toolbox. Like me, it was on me and another guy who like could do everything. And I just understood like the value of being reliable, and also you can have a little more leeway to sneak and do things when they can count on you. So a lot of my friends who worked there too, they were getting in trouble a lot, but I would do the same thing and they would let me slide because I was so reliable and so dependent.
For sure. Nora?
Oh man, you got the softball questions from Gray. So time to bring the home run. All right. So I looked up Atlanta's top issues and I see it includes the economy, inflation, and housing affordability. So in your opinion, what are 3 things that you think the candidate that you're running on could have improved on, and how do you intend to do so when you win?
Yeah, just to be clear, there's no incumbent in my race. My current council member, Marcy Coy Overstreet's running for Atlanta City Council. So my race, specifically my position, it's a hot seat. It's 10 of us in this race. So there's no
Okay.
incumbent I'm running against in this race. And we love Marcy. But for Atlanta specifically, affordability is a major thing for me and the city. I've always said that Atlanta has always relied on being an equitable city. Atlanta is the first city to have federally funded housing projects. You know, black ones we call them projects, but Atlanta was the first city in the country to have that because we always understood that. Yeah, it may not be the best. You may not have the best house, the biggest house, a big mansion, but it's important that people can afford to live here because we always knew maybe not Atlanta was going to be this, but we always knew that in order for Atlanta to be special in this country, that we needed to have affordability. And I think we're getting away from that to where Atlanta has grown so much and really become an international city. I think we're kind of catering to people who don't live here, who haven't made this city what it is. And it is time to make sure we get back and take care of our own. Like Jermaine Dupri said in the songs, people don't visit, they move out here. And part of that attraction was the affordability of it. And if Atlanta loses the affordability, which we seem to be trending that way, we're no longer the Atlanta people know and love. And I think, I'm sorry,
So
that's probably about wealth. Or you can repeat it so I can make sure I got the right part.
no, I was just saying, like, what are the issues that you think that, like, okay, since you're not running against anyone, what do you think could have been improved on in the next year when you win? Because obviously it's a city council, so where do you think they were lacking at?
Yeah. So again, I just want to be clear. I'm not running against an incumbent. Like I said, I'm running against people, but just not somebody who is holding the seat now. But for her, the only really critique I have of the previous council member, which she still holds the position today, is just that the visibility aspect of being, she's always been accessible to me. But as I'm on the campaign trail and I'm talking to people and I'm letting them know that I'm accessible, I'm here in front of you. Here's my number. Here's my email. You find me on social media, whatever, however you need to talk to me or express your concerns. If you need to cuss, if you need to yell, if you just need to vent, I am here. And a lot of people just said they haven't been able to reach to their council person or even know who they were. So I don't know if that's a testament of her not getting out or people not doing their research, but that's really the only critique I have of her. It's just that a lot of people just feel like they've never met her or they don't know who she was or she never came to them or something like that. And that's just something I'm discovering on the campaign trail. So of course there are other issues to tackle and we can get that. But as far as me personally, she's been pretty good. Like she's been a strong council member. That's why she's running for city council president, because she's been so trusted on the city council. But I will name some things like Southwest Atlanta is definitely neglected when it comes to the growth of Atlanta in general. When people think of Atlanta, you think of our downtown, our midtown, our Buckhead. That's where, we got the new stadium for the Falcons and the Atlanta United, the Braves new stadium. I know that's kind of Metro Atlanta, but it's basically Atlanta. And then if you all have seen that Live Nation is supposed to build that huge attraction downtown. But when people come here for these events, Super Bowl, World Cup, etc., they're not really coming to Southwest Atlanta. So we have to poke our chest out a little bit more and talk to some developers and other people that really bring some money, income, development to Southwest Atlanta to make sure people come over to the side. But of course, without displacement, the culture of Southwest Atlanta is still valuable to the city because we still have several mayors that live over here. We still have a historic culture, but we just need to elevate a little bit.
Okay, so someone asked in the chat about immigration, which you don't have to get into, but what are some ways that you think you'll be able to ensure that, historical Atlanteans won't be forgotten? Because you mentioned that people are moving in, but some people feel like they're forgotten. So you said accessibility is one way. What are policies that you'll implement to make sure that that doesn't happen?
Yeah, so this is concerning immigration or gentrification type thing. I just want to make sure.
I want you to answer the gentrification because you can't impact immigration, but gentrification you definitely can, and that is impacting people on a daily basis, and that'll be something you can definitely impact. We see it all over Miami, New York City. The entire country is impacted, unfortunately, by gentrification, and Atlanta is no stranger to it, I'm sure. So, what are things like you said? That's a good summary and good term to ensure that Atlanteans don't get left behind as people come in.
Yeah, fortunately for my district, Southwest Atlanta, we have, I know Atlanta has the highest wealth gap in the country, but in Southwest Atlanta, we are a prime example of that. But due to the fact that we have some Black millionaires, some Black lawyers, Black attorneys, Black business people and politicians, that kind of prevents gentrification from happening in this area. And not saying it can't. We've seen historic, West End is a strong Black district where our colleges are, Morehouse, Spelman, and Clark, Atlanta. We got a historic mall, but that's about to be changed to a development. But it's still a lot of Black dense over there. So It shouldn't be too bad, but for over here, we have a lot of black money to where you can't displace black folks, and like there's a lot of black ownership, people who own the development, the housing, etc. So we have. I'm not saying it's not a word, but we kind of have some things in place to kind of help prevent it. But also, Atlanta has a system called the MPU system, which if you live in the city of Atlanta, it's 26 MPUs, which are neighborhood planning units. So if you live in Atlanta, you're part of an MPU, and a lot of people don't know that. And it's basically a collection of neighborhoods and also whatever businesses are in that area. And every month they have a meeting, and every department from the city is present on that meeting. The police department, fire and rescue, parks and rec, public works, watershed, etc. And when development's coming to certain MPUs, the residents of the MPU or the business owners in the MPU, they can determine whether they want it or not. And a lot of people don't know that. And I always tell people, I'm in a certain MPU where it's only 1,000 or so people, and we don't have any businesses in ours. We're just a collection of neighborhoods. But there's like roughly 1,100 people in my MPU. Only the max amount of people I've seen on my MPU meeting is maybe 30, but on average it's 20. So you're giving 20 people ability to make a decision for 1,100. That's crazy. And that's the same. You could probably do the math around certain MPUs have 3,000 and then 50 people on the meeting. But they have a lot of power in the sense that if a bowling alley wants to buy, or somebody who wants to build a bowling alley wants to buy a building in the community, they have to check with the MPU. Of course, you got to check with the city and all that. But it's things that where the community has pipelines to determine, like, you know what, we don't want that. Or we have too many liquor stores over here. We don't want another liquor store. We have too many tires. I've talked to the community of this, and they'll say, look, Mr. Dingle, we have too many tire places over here. Like, we don't need another one. So on these MPU meetings, the neighborhood can determine what they want to be present and what they don't want. And of course, the city can override, but through those pipelines, because the city council persons on the meetings as well, they fight for you at City Hall to say, my community doesn't want this here. Or they can say, hey, we need this here, and we go out and find the developers for it. So the prevent gentrification is just making sure the city hears the community, and the community shows up at those platforms or pipelines, so the city or City Hall knows what they want and don't want.
Okay, so my last question is, I'm sure you're aware that Atlanta is a sanctuary city. Do you support it? Why or why not?
Atlanta's not a sanctuary city. If we are, I didn't know that, but we're not a sanctuary city as far as I know. But you said, do I support? This is my thing. I support my constituents, Atlanta. Like, if you're a resident or citizen or business owner of Atlanta, you have my attention. You are who I serve. Of course, when people visit to Atlanta, we have to make sure that they enjoy Atlanta, that they're safe, that if they can afford to enjoy themselves here, of course. But I just want everybody to have the proper resources to be safe. And if you are an immigrant, a legal immigrant, undocumented immigrant, that you have the proper resources to make sure if anything happens, that you have the proper resources to make sure if your kids are citizens or you have family members that are citizens, or if you're just here illegally or undocumented, you have legal counsel to handle your situation as best as possible. That's all I can guarantee as a city official, hopefully potentially or eventual elected city official. That's all I can say around immigration. Anybody who's a resident, citizen, constituent, or business owner in Atlanta, specifically my district, I am here to serve you. That is who I serve. But of course, like I said, if anybody's illegal or undocumented, I just hope we can provide you with the information to have you, best situated for your situation.
Doc, you're muted, Doc.
What's going on, man? How you doing today? Just want to tell somebody, Pan is like one track mind in the chat. Pan, we ain't no puppets. I'm not gonna say just that you got immigration on your mind so heavy. That's not the only thing I'm gonna ask him. Man, running for city council. What's up, Steven? Tell some people about your ties to your district and why they should vote for you. Your ties to that community.
Yeah, absolutely. I have a unique perspective or upbringing through this community. So I was born in a city called East Point, which touches this district, which touches Southwest Atlanta. That's where Outcast is from. So a lot of people just connect Southwest Atlanta and East Point together. But my parents moved down to Henry County, which is about 35 minutes south of Atlanta. And then they split when I was around 12 or 13. And my dad moved back to the area right by Greenbrier Mall, which is the mall Outcast used to hang out, where Crisscross was discovered. Very historic. My first Chick-fil-A ever was in Greenbrier Mall. But my dad moved back right beside it, and I've been back and forth really my entire life because he also worked downtown for Bronner Brothers, like I said. So Southwest Atlanta, we have a saying that when you get out of Atlanta, you're in Georgia. So growing up in Henry County, but also being with my dad in Southwest Atlanta, I always understood the dynamics of like what country Georgia was. and what Black excellence in Atlanta was. I had both views, and I think growing up, that's what made me appreciate Atlanta, and specifically Southwest Atlanta, so much by living right by Greenbrier Mall, or going to college, riding the MARTA from my home, walking down to the MARTA stop, riding MARTA to school and to my job in Midtown, understand how city transit work, why all the Black stores in Greenbrier. And I worked at that Kroger on Headland right across from the mall. So, and then, build a relationship with friends. And if you look at my social media, my personal social media, Steve Ozone 4, was created when my dad moved up there, and I was just sitting in Atlanta for a while. I was like, man, I love it here. And I just created the name Steve Ozone 4 because we also sit in that police district. That's what zones are in Atlanta. We rep about the police district. So, so my ties could be, like I said, I've been here since 13, firmly planted since 2008. When I attended college and lived with my dad, and then got my own spot in the same apartment complex, and I've been here ever since. And just been a community advocate. Like I said, I've been in music for the past 11, 12 years. So my professional life has been more in the creative space, but people always know me. I'm always out cleaning up the neighborhood, and really just taking personal initiative. I even started substitute teaching APS and in Clayton County, really, to help even before I decided to run. My wife's a teacher and a military vet. Mom's a teacher. And I just really do anything to help my community like that I can. And that's one thing about me is personal responsibility. And I hope to be a servant as an elected official, but personal responsibility for me is a big thing.
All right. Another thing, a lot of discussion about people has been they vote for officials and government officials, and they can't trust these people to use their vote for their best interest. Why can these people trust you to use your vote in the best interest of their district?
Yeah, easy. I think my reputation speaks for itself. Even, but like, not running for city council, but even on my campaign, you can't find a smut on my rep. Like, I would love for anybody to find me snaking somebody or being dishonest or not being transparent. That's you can't find it. It doesn't exist. So for me, I think it's easy for me to like, you can just ask around. If you don't know me, just ask around. Like, you won't find really a negative thing anybody say about me, except that I may be too loyal to the Falcons. But also the way that I maneuver throughout the city and in my life is I'm so accessible that I promise you, nobody's ever seen a politician move like me. Like, I don't talk about my competitors. I don't run that kind of campaign, but I will say I'm at places they will never be, because I just believe in serving all of our community. And I'm not saying they're not going to places, they're not talking to specific people, but when I show up to certain places, I know they're not going to be there. Because I don't know what I would put words in their mouth, but I can only assume they can think they're not going to vote, or they think they're not going to contribute to their campaign, or it just could be a waste of time. But for me, I just believe in serving every part of our community, no matter who you are, no matter what your age is, what your demographic is, what part of town you come from. And I'm just accessible. And even in my campaign, it exemplifies that, because people tell me I don't know who my council person is. I've never even seen an Atlanta politician. Like, so the fact that I'm a candidate and they're running into me and they can talk to me, and even my friends are calling me like, bro, I've never had access to someone in politics like this. I'm like, this is the entire point. It shouldn't be like that. Your politicians should be at your barbecues, should be at your kids' birthday parties, should be at the elementary school graduations. Like, you should be actively in the community and not just operating from these pseudo ivory towers. So for me, and you can hold me accountable that way. You should see me at the gas station and be like, hey, I saw you at that city council meeting yesterday. I didn't like what you said. And I should be able to hear you out so I can go back to City Hall and be a true representation for the people that I serve.
All right. Last thing for me is there's thousands of ways to create change. I mean, there's so many I can't come up with. What made you decide, in the climate that the world is and our country is today, what made you decide to choose to be a politician?
Yeah, I always knew I wanted to serve in politics. I was giving myself 40. I was like, I'm gonna retire from music, and I wanted to get a Grammy. I was like, politics is gonna be my next endeavor. I didn't know if it was gonna be Congress, mayor, city council, but for the past year or so, I really kind of honed in on like, yeah, I think city council is a good step. And then it just happened to be my city council member is going to be city council president. I was like, wow, it was 4 years too early. I'm 35. I said I was gonna do it at 40. But that was just, to me, some sort of divine timing to where I was like, okay, I want to serve here. And the reason I chose politics is because, you know how you or Toni Morrison says, if you feel like a book hasn't been written that you want to read, like, you write it. And I kind of took that approach to politics. It's like, you're watching the national landscape, and I know I'm running for local politics, but this includes local politics. And I'm just like, I feel like there's never been someone like me. And when I maneuver around my city and I talk to people, it seems like they're hungry for someone like me. And I just figured, like, there's no better way to serve at this current moment than to get into politics and truly show what's possible when you have someone to serve the people like me.
For sure. Kamal.
All right, my first question is, what is your political affiliation?
Well, this position is nonpartisan. So I'm a Democrat. I'm a registered Democrat. So
Okay.
I'll say that I'm a registered Democrat. That's why I'll say for the record. But this race is nonpartisan. So you don't run as a party. But hey, like I say, I can't say I'm running on transparency and not keep it above. So
all right. Next question. How many Black Americans is in your district?
I don't know. Yeah, there's no demographic that I've seen to tell you about Black Americans. All I can tell you is that my district is 96% Black, and it's 2% white, 2% other. That's all the demographic statistics that I've seen.
Okay, and are you trying to move up the political chain?
No, my goal is to serve in this seat, even if it's just for one term. I truly want to make an impact on this term, this seat. To where, like I say, even if it's just 4 years, I want to walk away and people be able to say, "Dog, I want to make it hard for the next person to come after me." They're like, "Mr. Councilman Dingle did all that. I gotta do that." Like that's my goal, to really impact people's material conditions, and they can really feel the impact of when I was on the seat. So this is my goal, my pure goal right now.
Are you able to like pass policies?
Yeah, so Atlanta City Council, we're like the Congress of, like, the mayor's the president, we're the Congress. So we create legislation, we determine the budget. We just, not we yet, but City Council just passed the biggest budget in Atlanta history of $3 billion. So yeah, we determine what department, how much gets who, who gets what. And like I said, and we call them ordinances and resolutions. So that's the legislation, like a bill on the federal level. So yeah, we are the city's Congress.
Okay, and what policies are you going to get through that's going to help out Black Americans?
Yeah, that's one thing that's lucky for me is, like I said, I don't have the statistics of Black American versus Black Jamaican and all of that. But with my district being basically all Black, any concern for my district kind of it serves Black folks. So my thing is definitely keeping us safe. And I know we got that Cop City. Everybody asked me about Cop City, but it's here now. You can't boycott it and do all that. It's here. But I am definitely militarization of the police, and definitely working with community efforts to make sure we're safe. And even like, you got to work with the police, that we fund them and etc. But making sure that we have relationships to where nobody is harmed when it comes to being policed. Secondly, is educating our children, man. I think, and if I can sum it up, because I know you asked about policy, but this is my theory. This is my first time saying, I kind of been sitting with it. I want to make Atlanta as safe as Ireland. I want to make us as literate as Cuba, but then keep our culture of Atlanta. Like that is like, if I could sum up, and I want to pass policies to ensure that. So with education, I am big on literature. I'm sitting in my office, but I can't, if you want to see the computer, I got books everywhere, man. And then go to my kids' rooms, every room is filled with books. And I just want to help. I'm not running for school board, but anything I can assist with making sure that our students and our children are equipped with all the proper resources to educate themselves, man. I think of any area, community, city, district that values education shows they have a vision for itself, and Atlanta definitely needs to be at the top of that. And then I'm on the economic development and infrastructure. There's no reason why Buckhead, Midtown, downtown can have all these beautiful streets painted, paved, and all this, and Southwest Atlanta not get that same thing regarding infrastructure. So first thing I want to do is walk around with every department in the city that at least has something to do with keeping it clean and pristine, and making sure every stop sign, every light, every street is paved and painted, it's clean, and we're just as pristine as those upscale parts of town like a Buckhead or Midtown. And then economic development, like I said, is making sure we have job opportunities that people can afford, can work in this neighborhood or this community, can live in this community, and also enjoy amenities in this community without being displaced or their property taxes going up. So just creating policies that make Atlanta affordable, that make us safe, educate our children, and make sure we have the best of the best, just like the other parts of town that get what they need at the drop of a hat.
For sure.
Okay, or would you be willing to, I got more questions. Would you be willing to pass policies that help get Black people an anti-Black hate crime bill? And what is your stance on cash reparations?
So the first question, I actually saw Killer Mike say something like this. So Atlanta is such, and I know if you've seen the statistics, they're saying we're not as Black as we used to be, but I mean, if the facts are the facts, cool, but that's just not my experience. Again, in my district, it's 96% black. So, and Killer Mike said a thing that where, like, growing up, you always feel like you could hold your black or your elected officials, police chief, or whatever. You could hold them accountable because you could just be like, I don't like that N word over there, because that was it was somebody who you knew. It was somebody who grew up like you, who you could have access to. So with that, Atlanta, I don't know if we necessarily need that because we're so black, because we've had always black leadership. We don't need to create a policy or legislation around that, because we, at least since I've been alive, since Maynard Jackson, of course, we've kind of always been black led for the most part. But then to your part about cash reparations, I don't know what much municipal officials could do about it. I would support it, but I think that's more of a state and federal issue. But I'm definitely for it. I don't know why I would be against it. So, but I just don't know how much power I would have on the municipal level.
You'd be surprised with the politician. I know you're running locally, but people say they'll be like, oh, I just want to run locally and don't do nationally. And then down the line, 5 years later, they running for a bigger position. So I want to know where your mindset at, brother. You feel me? That's 100%. Why I asked about the Black Hate Crime Bill and also cash reparations, because I want to, no matter what politician come on here, if I'm on here, I'm going to ask those questions. You feel me? Because I want to know more about the mindset. And then also, we got one more question from our African representative, Bawana. He wants to know where your lineage from, bruh.
All Black American. Yeah,
okay.
Black American. That's all I know.
All right. Thank you for answering that question. Bawana, you got your answer.
All right, for sure. So Stephen, thank you for answering all those questions. We'll get to like the style of the show that we do. So basically, Nora has a show tomorrow, so I want to add something spicy. And Trump, this is actually the anniversary of Trump's assassination attempt. And I feel like that, with that happening, made people forget about some of Trump's indiscretions. And basically, you know, and with Epstein surrounding him, I just want to play this clip and get you guys' thoughts on it.
And Cooper asked him like a number of times, did you grope women? Did you kiss them? And he just adamantly says no. I jumped off of my couch and I was like, you're a liar.
Summer Zervos once appeared as a contestant on Trump's reality show, The Apprentice.
He came to me and started kissing me open-mouthed as he was pulling me towards him. I tried to push him away. I pushed his chest to put space between us, and I said, come on, man, get real. He repeated my words back to me, get real, as he began thrusting his genitals.
I was very young. The person on my right, who unbeknownst to me at that time was Donald Trump, put their hands up my skirt.
Temple Taggart is a former Miss Utah. She says without her consent, Trump kissed her on the lips immediately after meeting her in 1997. Rachel Crooks told the New York Times that Trump kissed her inappropriately as well in 2005. Natasha Stoynoff, a writer for People magazine, says Trump forcibly kissed her and pinned her down while on a reporting assignment at Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate. And Jessica Leeds says Trump grabbed her breasts and put his hands up her skirt on a plane in the early 1980s. Donald Trump again Friday denied all of the allegations against him.
I mean, some of these foreign girls, you know, Mr. Trump, in my country, we say hello with vagina. And
well, you could also say, as the owner of the pageant, it's your obligation to do that.
So you have done that. Now,
I'll tell you the funniest is that I'll go backstage before a show.
Yes.
And everyone's getting dressed and ready and everything else. And, you know, no men are anywhere. And I'm allowed to go in because I'm the owner of the pageant, and therefore I'm inspecting it. You know, I'm inspecting. I want to make sure that
like
everything is good.
You're there.
Yeah, the dress. Is everyone okay? You know, they're standing there with no clothes. Is everybody okay? And you see these incredible-looking women, and so I sort of get.
Nora, I know your show tomorrow is on Epstein. So, do you want to promote your show, and do you want to talk about how you feel about the video?
Well, I'm the lone Trump supporter on here, so I'll start with the video. I think that this video was disrespectful. Donald Trump 1 year ago today was almost assassinated, and this is what you lead with. I understand Democrats are upset because thank God Donald Trump survived. Had he not, then Joe Biden would have been walking through as a crypt keeper through the White House, and potentially we don't even know who'd be running the country. At least we know Donald Trump is running the country. So, you know, you're going to play a harsh video like that, I'm going to come back harsh swinging, because I think Donald Trump has done a phenomenal job. I may not 100% agree with everything he's doing, but he had a hard task of taking over the country from a crypt. So I'll start with that. Secondly, the one thing that I'm not proud of with the Trump administration is the Epstein files. He overpromised and underdeliver. That's something you should learn from, Stephen. Don't overpromise and underdeliver. He promised those files. He promised the client list. Now he's saying there's none. And why can't we move on? Why can't we move on? Because you ran on that. So tomorrow, my show is going to be exposing the intricate web of the Epsteins, the intricate web of who Ghislaine Maxwell is. Who is she connected to? Also, Lex Wexner, we can't forget him. He's the head of Victoria's Secret. He was indebted and very much involved in this. So we're going to be breaking that down. But more importantly, guys, all over the country, we are underwater. So we're going to talk about some survival tips as well. What happens if there's a flood in your area? Because half of us do live in Florida. So that's important as well. And shout out to New Jersey, North Carolina, Texas. A lot of places are flooded tonight. So yeah.
For sure. So supposedly some of those girls were as young as 15 at that pageant. I don't know, but that's what they said. So Stephen, we have like Black Republicans on here. How do you feel about Black Republicans, and do you feel like Trump deserves the accusations that he gets?
The first question is, I don't have a problem with Black Republicans. I feel like we're all Americans, and as long as you want to see America do well, and we can argue and debate or even agree on what we think it takes for America to do well, that's where I lie. Like I don't care about the political affiliation. I care about the character of the person and the ideas they have for the country, and do we agree on that to move the country forward? Regarding Trump and the allegations, if you're talking about these sexual allegations, I don't know. It's all a mess for me. I just don't know. Of course, nobody wants to have these allegations put on them. It's just so much that I don't know what to believe, what not to believe. All I know is to be have this many allegations, it's not a good look. I know that much. But yeah, I don't know what's true, what's false. I just don't know.
Kamal,
you said 15, bro. God damn. And Gray, I'm gonna call, bro. You are the best clip man, bro. You out here, you be having the best damn clips, bro. For real, this the clip you gonna bring when Donald Trump almost got assassinated, bro. You out there. First Anton Daniels, now this, bro. Come on. Good Lord. Look, I mean, look, I just can't wait to watch the show tomorrow after I got to do what I got to do tomorrow. I want to hear more about the Epstein stuff. You feel me? Like, I mean, Donald Trump did say grab by the puss too. Damn, it's a lot of stuff out there on bro that just ain't looking good, man. Damn, it ain't looking good. A lot of
stuff that doesn't look good for Obama, Bill Clinton, Joe Biden. The list is endless. Joe Biden took showers with his daughter. Bill Clinton was getting fellatio in the White House. Obama,
Bill Clinton got his dick sucked. Now we can't hold that against Bill Clinton.
We're going to be throwing things and seeing what sticks. The list is, and actually, the only one who doesn't have rumors was George Bush, and I don't like him. So that tells you everything.
You said Joe Biden took a shower with his daughter?
Yes, you can look it up. She wrote in her diary that her and her dad would take showers. Allegedly, go look it up. I'm not making this up. I didn't say it. Okay. She wrote it in her diary.
We're getting off. Okay, so Doc, do you feel like Trump deserves these allegations? And do you feel like I'm wrong for putting it out? Because I said that basically that his assassination attempt got the distraction off of what was going on.
I got paper cuts that was deadlier than Trump's assassination attempt. Right? You know what I'm saying? This man put this little Band-Aid on his ear. He busted a ketchup packet and got up and faked like he didn't even get shot. Like he didn't even get shot. So I got scrapes from growing up as a kid that did more damage than the assassination attempt on Donald Trump. And Donald Trump a billionaire. Of course he was out here disrespect because he assuming that these women want him to grab him by the pussy and come backstage. And some of them probably did. They probably saw a bag and thought, oh, if he thought they was the prettiest, their whole life would change. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't make it right. I'm just saying that's how, it be going out here in the world sometimes.
For sure. So let's get into the main topic. We just talked about Republicans. So they're upset about the Superman movie. I love it. I got a Superman shirt on right now just for the show. So let's see.
To the Yankees at Mets game yesterday at Citi Field. Go Yanks. And you should see the people sitting for the national anthem for God Bless America. It's really just, I can't believe that we've come down to that. And I don't know, we don't go to the movie theater to be lectured to and to have somebody throw their ideology onto us. I wonder if it'll be successful.
You know what it says on his cape? MS-13.
Wow. Is it superimposed or it actually says that? It is super. Just on the knuckles. One more thing is up next.
So, Doc, I know you just watched it right before you came on here, and you said you didn't feel like it was political. You don't feel like they were lecturing the people on the right?
No, I don't feel like they were lecturing people on the right. I think the Superman movies have went in all different directions over the years. And I think the people who have something to say, they want everything to be, a message. And I'm sure there's a message in there somewhere, but that isn't like, I'm just a regular person. So I guess these don't be directed towards me. These be for people who are easily swayed and, it's easily to get them to go to one side or another. It's not for me. I just watched the movie and I didn't think about it one way or the other. And she said it was a problem with people sitting out for God Bless America. The beauty of America is we have freedom of speech, freedom. And even though I served in the military and I love, and I understand all these people died, that's just another freedom of speech. You don't have to stand. You don't have to kneel. You don't have to do anything you don't want to do. And that's the beauty of America.
Steven, you the other person that watched it. Did you feel like they were lecturing to people on the right?
Not necessarily lecturing, but first of all, Doc, really appreciate you for your service. Everybody who knows me, I don't play about the military. I didn't serve, but hey, I defend y'all, not like y'all defend us, but yeah, you can't disrespect the military around me. So appreciate you for your service. But it's just that last dialogue piece. I'm not telling the movie, but that last conversation that I definitely was like, all right, that was clearly a testament or a metaphor analogy of the current climate of immigration, whether it's the deportations, illegal immigration, undocumented immigration. That last thing was definitely a reference for that, for sure. So I would say preaching to the right, but it definitely was trying to exemplify what's going on in the United States of America currently regarding immigration, for sure.
For sure. So I'm going to play explaining. I'm letting Nora and Kamal go so they can hear the explanation. And then you guys will see like the specific scenes where it was political.
Is the new Superman movie really anti-Israel? Yes, I just watched that shit. And it's probably as pro-anti-Israel as a movie produced by Hollywood can be. Let me explain. The movie centers around a conflict between two countries, Bravia and Jaranpur, which Superman just intervened to stop Bravia from invading Jaranpur. Bravia is this hyper-militaristic country that takes money from America, or in this case, LexCorp. Their leader of Bravia is just a puppet of Lex Luthor. Tell me this is not just a stand-in for Benjamin Netanyahu. In the movie, Bravia is trying to invade Jaranpur, specifically show a hyper-militarized unit going up against villagers, don't have like any real weapons. And just as this young boy is about to get shot by the military, the superheroes come to rescue him. It symbolizes two things: the dehumanization of even young children against the military, and the anti-symmetry between these two forces, where we have hyper-military units on one side, tanks and shit, and then people were fighting with literally whatever they can find, which mirrors is not real and Palestine. Superman is not standing for the shit because he realizes it's unjust. This to me is bringing real superheroes back, because I can't tell you how many times I've imagined if I had superpowers, I'd exactly intervene on these kind of events. The movie kind of wavers on its anti-Israel stance as it tries to act like these are two separate nations, and it ignores the fact that the land that Bravia, in this case, exists under is stolen land, and this is a colonial project. Even though in this scene they were going up against villagers, it does say in the movie that these people, the Jaranpurians, have a dictator over them as well. Which again levels the playing field, which is kind of liberal Zionist propaganda. Because it doesn't mention the active and ongoing genocide of the Palestinians now either. But overall, I think it shows how Zionism is losing the propaganda war. The movie itself could have been more pro-Palestine though, in my opinion. What did y'all think?
Laura, I know you're passionate about Gaza. do you feel like it's right for Hollywood to critique them?
Yeah,
Critique Israel?
absolutely. Absolutely. We are watching an active genocide. I don't know how else to put it. There are thousands of people getting killed every day. They're going to get food and they're getting gunned down while waiting in line for food, and we can no longer look away. In fact, $3 billion was just sent there. Our money is actively involved in this. So, hey, great. I don't know about the movie. I don't like the whole message about the immigration thing. I think, hey, that's their opinion. They
I'm
can
gonna get
have
into
it.
that part.
But, uh-huh.
I'm gonna get into the immigration part.
Yeah, I don't know anything else. I really don't understand the movie, so I'm not commenting from the movie standpoint, but um I do think that people need to take a stance against what's going on. There's active genocides worldwide, not just in Gaza, it's happening in Africa. So President Trump actually did help end one of them in Africa, but he doesn't get credit for that. And hopefully he will continue diplomacy working with Israel to end in Gaza, because at this point I was very sad when they announced that they were going to move them, but I just want them to be saved at this point. I don't care where they get saved, because it's terrible what's happening.
Kamal, I don't think I ever got your thoughts on the conflict. So what are your thoughts on, the Israel Gaza conflict and Hollywood having political messages?
My thoughts on the conflict is I'm minding my Black American business. That's my thoughts. And I ain't gonna lie, when I saw you play the trailer, I was really thinking, I'm like, damn, is Superman in the conflict of the war between them two? When he saved that boy in the trailer thing, I was really thinking, I'm like, that's where they complaining about, probably right there, and some other ish. You feel me? But yeah, that's my thoughts. Sometimes you gotta sometimes you ain't gotta take a side. You could just be on the sideline, watch the stuff go on. You feel me? Like, we don't have to jump into every fight. That's what I'm learning as a Black American, because I'm tired of being a goddamn shield and a bullet bag for shit when the shoe's on the other foot. Man, we don't get no help. So with that being said, I'm out of it. My name Bennett, and I ain't in it. You feel me? And also, people in the chat, y'all funny today, man. Bawana the Hyena Prince, you funny as hell, bruh. Saying I got a criminal record. Steven, he asked you, could you get rid of my criminal record? Even though I ain't got one. But the Hyena Prince out here, you feel me? Then we had some other dude in here. He was clowning, said he ain't never seen Shock G and me in the same room, nor the Weekend. Okay, the Sid Davis show with them elementary ass jokes. Show your face. You probably look like a bag of horse shit. But shout out to y'all though. I appreciate the jokes in the chat though. You feel me?
So the reason that people were talking about immigration in the movie is that Superman is an immigrant. Superman lands here in a ship on planet Earth, so he's from another place. And the right is saying that Superman has never been political. He's never talked about immigration. So Smallville came out in the early 2000s, and it was another Superman show, like TV show. And so Superman has always talked about immigration, and even Dragon Ball Z Goku, who's kind of based on Superman to a certain degree, they talk about racism and immigration too. So even characters based on Superman talk about immigration. But here's the clip.
Have no choice. We have to call immigration.
I told Javier he'd be safe here, and I meant it.
I want to help this boy as much as you do, but I took an oath to uphold the law.
All he's trying to do is find his mom.
I know, but we have to go through the proper legal channels.
Was it legal when you forged my adoption papers? I'm an illegal immigrant, Mom. You've been harboring me for over 17 years.
Your situation was entirely different. We had to protect you.
And I need to protect Javier. If I don't defend him, who will? You know, this kid isn't hurting anyone. Why not just let him be?
I'm just doing my job, Clark. If you want to get into the country, you need to do it the legal way. Like my parents did. If you see anything, give us a call.
Will do, Deputy. You can come out now. He's gone.
Why didn't you tell the police?
Because I know what it feels like to be out of place. Besides, I'm not from around here either.
Where are you from?
So this is a lot further than Mexico.
So So, Steven, I know you're a local politician. Is tonight the first time you got questions about immigration, or is that something your local constituents actually care about?
No, tonight's actually the first time I've ever been asked about it, for sure. So, yeah, they haven't let me know that they're concerned about it at this point. They may be later down the line, but no, this is definitely the first time I've been asked about it.
For sure. So, Kamal, like, I know you mind your FBA business, so do you want to talk about immigration?
Yeah, let's talk about immigration a little bit. First of all, Buwana, I know you joking, bro. Damn, I can take a joke too. You thinking I'm hella serious about that? Nah, I know you joking, bro. I got you, bro. Second of all, Smallville was tight as hell. That was such a tight show. I actually remember that episode where they were talking about the like immigration stuff or whatever. You know. What actual question you want me to answer about immigration though? Because there's a plethora of things. You know what I mean? Is it relating with the show or?
I mean, Superman is an immigrant, so like within the movie, he's like constantly being called an alien by Lex Luthor, and they're kind of using some type of right wing media where they're saying that Superman is being looked at bad because he's an immigrant. So I mean, but what Superman was saying was that I can just be kind, I can just be a human, and I actually care about people. Like, so why can't I just care about people and help people? Even though I'm from a different place, I don't want to harm anybody here. I actually want to help people.
Okay, and this was what was being played throughout the movie. They were showing like the whole thing where Superman is like they're driving the point like you're an alien, you're an immigrant type of ordeal.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, shit, don't art imitate life? End of the day, that's what I'm seeing. I mean, I ain't seen the movie yet, but from the clips I'm seeing, I'm like, yeah, we know Superman a damn alien. Came from a spaceship with some green shit with him. Krypton planet or whatever. You feel me? Like, and I feel like 95% of movies is gonna push some type of propaganda. That's just how I see it. So I can't really say too much on it because I haven't seen it, but it do sound like they probably like was pushing, they made it kind of seem like the immigrants is gonna be our savior.
I feel you. So Doc, you saw it. Did you like notice that they kept on calling Superman like an alien? They were trying to like talk about the immigrants. How do you feel about those scenes?
I noticed that and stuff. I guess I didn't think about it like that, but it's probably also because Superman white. If he was L Superman, they would have got his ass up out of here. You know what I'm saying? If he was El Supero, man, they would have got his ass right the fuck up out of here. Him and that mustache. You know what I'm saying? He would have been on they'd have said, yeah, fly your ass back across the border and don't come back over here. They boys would have put up some like electric fence 8 miles high in the sky so he couldn't get back. You know what I'm saying? He would have had to take that little skinny, little slim thing he had with him too. You know what I'm saying? Get her up out of here too. He harboring a fugitive. They probably would have deported both of them.
For sure.
Deport him back to his planet and shit.
Come on, man. You got to go somewhere. You feel me?
So Nora, if there's no hope for Superman, if Superman get deported, what's the hope for the immigrants with no superpowers?
Well, the immigrants with no superpower should follow the rules. They should show up to their court cases. They should comply. They shouldn't come over here and legally and break through the fence to get here, and then they wouldn't have problems. Most of these people that we are getting upset about, we're getting riled up about, they either A, came through illegally, they did not wait their turn initially like they should have done, like millions of American immigrants have done, and B, when they did come through and they were given a court date, they opted not to show up. And now that Donald Trump is the enforcer and enforcing this policy that we've had, these immigration policies, now it's bad Trump, sad story, Republicans bad. But the reality is we had a free-for-all at the border the last 4 years, and Donald Trump is cleaning it up. And unfortunately, No one likes the parent that cleans up the mess. No one likes the parent that enforces the rules, and that's where we're at. And I'm a child of immigrants, and I'm telling you this. You follow the rules. You show up to your court cases. Now, if you're showing up after the fact, now that Donald Trump's the enforcer, and you miss 2 or 3, that's what you're seeing. You're seeing people that neglected to show up to their court cases, and or they came here illegally, and now they're being deported. So, I mean, I don't know how else to put it, but it's I'm sorry for them. I'm sorry for the children involved, but I'm not sorry for somebody that chose to come here illegally, and or did not comply with our immigration laws.
So
Because
you would.
nowhere else in the world can you do that.
So
But
you would.
North Superman been here 40 years. He got a job at the Daily Planet and all. You think if he was Carlos Kent, they would have got him up out of here? If he was Carlos Kent, they would have got him out of here before he wrote his first paper.
The reason why you see Carlos getting deported is because, for the most part, Carlos is not compliant with immigration. Hakeem from Jamaica usually is, or people from other countries usually are, but Carlos doesn't think he needs to be compliant. They're not telling you that.
When it's a white immigrant, though, they turn him to a superhero.
I don't know. Everyone keeps talking about European deportations, European immigrants. You don't see Europeans flooding the border, though. So I don't think that's a fair analogy to make. It's like basically playing victim or saying it's racism. But the reality is people flooding the border were not Europeans. They were Hispanic, unfortunately. So that's who's getting deported.
For sure. Stephen, thank you for coming. Like, it was great having you on the show. I'm actually originally from Georgia, so it's great to interview a Georgia politician. So let people know how they can support your campaign, where they can find you, and then let them know also what you think of the Man Cave.
I missed that last part, the Man Cave. I missed that.
Well, we're the new party, but Monday and Wednesday is the Man Cave.
Okay.
Podcast.
I got you. Yeah, so I can be found everywhere on social media at Dingle for Atlanta. Twitter or X is Dingle for ATL. But besides that, the website is Dingle for Atlanta. And of course, you can just Google me, Stephen Dingle in Atlanta. Everything's going to come up. And again, I'm running for Atlanta City Council, District 11. I'm easy to find, man. Just Stephen Dingle for Atlanta. And yeah, I said the Man Cave, you got to, just hit me and we'll figure that out. But if this was the Man Cave right here, or that's another.
That's this. What did you think of the night?
No, this was love. This was love. And I'll just throw in one thing about Superman. They were smart to make him an alien immigrant where his home was destroyed. So even if they were to try to ship him back home, it's like there's nowhere to put him. So that even adds more to the immigrant thing. And we also know he's a weapon. So it's like any country he would have landed in would have wanted to keep him, due to the fact you can't deport him back to a planet that don't exist. So it's like it's almost advantageous to keep him. So the United States just got lucky that he landed here. But yeah, man, appreciate the Man Cave having me, the new party. Thank you all so much.
For sure. Dot, what's your final thoughts?
Good show, everybody. Make sure everybody in the comments like and subscribe. Good luck on the race, Steven. I'll be up to Atlanta sometime soon. Hopefully you already won, and I see you out there and congratulate you, man.
For sure. And yeah, you just reminded me, if you watch it right now, hit that subscribe button and that notification bell to know when we go live. Kamal, what's your final thoughts?
All right, Stephen, thank you for coming on the show. You feel me? On the Man Cave, answering the questions. You feel me? Also, people in the chat, I know y'all joking, bro. I will let y'all know when I don't think y'all joking. But for the most part, I think y'all joking. Y'all come in lighthearted, and y'all know I'm gonna rank back on your ass. So it's all love over here. Until I feel like it ain't, then you would know. You feel me? But you know what I mean? Shout out to the Man Cave. Superman has always been an alien white immigrant. Is he supposed to be? Is he supposed to be Jesus Christ? I'm confused. Is he supposed to be the white Jesus Christ? You feel me? Like, are they supposed to portray Superman that way too? I don't know. You feel me? And we know that life imitates art. So at the end of the day, like, what up, Daryl? You feel me? At the end of the day, most stuff that we see, they push some type of propaganda. There's just a certain type of propaganda, and certain people mad about it. Get your panties out of the freaking bunch. God damn. Like, this is Superman. Shit, what Y'all gonna have a problem with Batman next? But Incredible Hulk, Captain America? Y'all gonna be like, Captain America ain't American enough? Is that what's gonna happen? Come on, man. Like, all these think pieces about certain shit where I'll just be like, man, I'm gonna watch the movie and be like, man, I don't see none of that. You feel me? But at the end of the day, like I said, when it comes to certain things, I just mind my business. Like, I'm not supposed to be involved in everything. You feel me? So that's just one of the things I feel and stuff like that. And I pinned the new party Man Cave at the top of the chat. Y'all go subscribe and also hit that notification so y'all know when they go live. All right. And once again, Steven, I appreciate you, bro, for real, for answering the questions. You know what I mean? And not doing the politician runaround shit.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
Nora, what's your final thoughts?
Yeah, thank you, Stephen, for coming. Good luck with your race. I really appreciate you for being a good sport. But my final thoughts in regards to tonight is I'm here to fight for truth and justice in the American way. That is a classic line from Superman. So, I mean, that's where I stand. I think I got to give it to Kamal. Kamal brings up a good point. People are just finding reasons to be mad. Like, people, like, art is allowed to be whatever it wants it to be. I don't have time to be focusing on these culture war things. I think we won the culture war. When Donald Trump won, we won. So I don't see what conservatives are getting so mad about. However, the real things that people should be getting mad about, and I do think that Superman is a distraction, is the Epstein files. Donald Trump, promises made, they weren't delivered. So tomorrow, we're going to show you why they weren't delivered. I can't wait to tell you what I found out about Ghislaine Maxwell. And so odd that a week ago she was the focus of what my show was going to be. And now they're saying that she's supposed to testify. Oh, wait, Republicans won't let her testify. So we're going to break that down. What are they so afraid of? That's what I want to know. What are they so afraid of? Also, God, I'm praying for those in Texas, Atlanta, New Jersey tonight, North Carolina. There's floods all across the country. Why are we seeing these record floods? Number one. Number two, what to do if you are in a flood? If you have a flash flood come across your screen, what are some survival things? We're going to talk about that because this is important. So shout out to everybody that's impacted. I'm so sorry, but we're sending prayers to you tonight. That's my closing thoughts.
For sure. First, I want to thank Stephen for coming. This is what we're all about. And it helps us when politicians come on, we get to talk to you and we can actually bring information to people. And hopefully we can help you with voters because it seems like you're running a good campaign and you're trying to help people. To me, the Superman movie was a phenomenal movie. I love the movie. I'm actually not a big DC fan. I was shocked how good it was. And I might actually end up putting that movie in my top 3. I'm going to be hosting, so I want to actually play a outro clip. I wanted to start doing something different. And good night. This podcast tells you exactly how good the movie was and what he thought of it. And I agree with everything he says in this.
Over my one major criticism.
Sure.
I think it really drags. I think I really feel the runtime at multiple spots.
Interesting.
And I'm going to go ahead and say this. People are going to be furious at me that I'm describing Superman this way. I think it has the Oppenheimer problem. Every scene in this movie is like the best scene you've ever seen in your life.
Yeah.
But there's too many scenes.
Interesting.
I felt that way several times. Like the first 30 to 45 minutes, I think I turned to Rachel 30 minutes in and I said, this is the greatest movie I've ever seen in my life. I think it keeps up that pace. Like there's some really high quality scenes throughout this movie.
Yes.
Where it's like you're just watching, there's a scene at the end that we'll get into in a minute. But like there are so many scenes where I'm like, wow, this is just the best shit ever. But God, was I feeling it like at a certain point where I was like, God, this movie is still going.
Interesting.
I was talking to somebody after the film and they were like, wow, like that, I wish there was more, like 2 hours and 10 minutes. I felt like it was an hour. And I was like, God, I felt the opposite. Now, so maybe that's a unique opinion to me. Maybe it has to do with the structure of the film, which we will get into, or this or that. But yeah, for me, it's like, almost a very similar experience to Oppenheimer.
Where you loved Oppenheimer.
And I loved every scene in
Didn't have a problem
Oppenheimer.
with any of the scenes. There were just too many.
It's just like it keeps going. But I want to make something clear. Like Oppenheimer, I gave a clear, concrete, like you should have cut this, you should have cut this, you should have cut this. I have none of that for Superman. I don't know what you cut. Yeah. I genuinely do believe it's probably the best movie they could have made. There's some scenes. There's scenes that, like you see in the trailer. Pretty much every single scene you see in the trailer is like the greatest scene you've ever seen in your life. One of my favorites, one of the standouts, is a conversation between Lois Lane and Superman in an interview, and like it's incredible. You can't cut that, but there's so many of those scenes where it's just like, wow, we're still
interesting.
going.
So I didn't feel that at all. I feel like the other person.
Yeah.
Not that it was an hour, but
God, I'm really jealous of you.
Yeah.
Because if I didn't have that problem, it's a 10 out of 10 without question.
Okay, interesting. Maybe once or twice, but generally, no. I was locked the entire time.
So the movie was too long.
For sure.